Because we know, going back to being diverse in your marketing, we know the things that work, keep doing them. But just like COVID taught us, when all of a sudden our event heavy advisors could no longer do events, sometimes that radio station that you've been on for years, with no warning, will turn to a Spanish station. Unless you can speak Spanish well, I don't think this is going to work anymore.
No bueno.
3, 2, 1.
Welcome into Ready, Set, Grow Strategies for Financial Advisors. This is one that I've been looking forward to for a long time because to look behind the glass, behind the curtain, Alex and I kind of share a window.
We sure do. We spent a lot of time together.
And at the old place, we shared a wall.
We did.
Cubicle wall.
We're so lucky.
And here we are sharing a table. Very nice. And we're going to share a conversation.
Yep.
Because we're kind of bringing you into your wheelhouse, and there'll be kind of a theme, planning for the new year and getting ready for Q1 and the events. What's the one thing, when you talk to the advisors, what's the one thing that they're not accounting for when they're planning for the first quarter and specifically to their events?
I think what is a common theme is advisors get so surprised on how fast it sneaks up on you. We get through this end of the year and it's events, got to close for the year. We have the holidays. Maybe you take a vacation. Hopefully you do. You deserve it. And then all of a sudden it's January and we all look at our watches like, oh my gosh, how did that happen again? I don't have anything on the calendar. I've been so busy trying to tie up the rest of the year that I don't have anything planned. And then it's a scramble and you pretty much lose the month of January because you need about 30 to 45 days to plan something. So we lose momentum by not planning ahead. And I think that's kind of exactly why we want to do this topic, to help advisors think about it now so they're not surprised come January 1st.
You said the M word, momentum.
Mm-hmm.
And an object in motion stays in motion. And if you take November and December off and you say, we'll just hit the ground run. Well, we don't need to do anything. We'll just start January on January 1st. You've stopped.
Yep.
And now you got to get that ball rolling again.
Yep. Because the thing about that is if you do stop November and December, all of a sudden you don't have appointments to go to in January. So now you don't have activity from an event perspective or marketing perspective. And then you also don't have anybody coming into your office. And so you want to start January off strong by having the appointments set from those November and December events, and also think about what's coming up at the end of January in terms of activity.
We all learned from Anchorman. Diversity isn't just an old wooden ship. It's also, crucial to a marketing plan.
Mm-hmm.
You have to have a diverse array of events.
Yeah.
So what do you recommend if an advisor loves seminars? That worked in 2024, but what do you suggest for Q1 2025?
Yeah, and people respond to different things. People who respond to a dinner seminar may not respond to something else, and vice versa. Those not responding to dinner seminars might come in for an educational workshop or try doing something a little bit more low key. We just talked about pizza workshops on a house rules.
Is that a house rules plug?
It was a
House rules plug.
And so that's just something different to diversify your marketing. So you're doing dinner seminars, an educational workshop. Maybe you try a webinar this year, something that's a little bit easier. You don't have to spend as much time doing it, but you get a lot of draw to people who maybe can't get to you after work or during crazy traffic hours doing client events because you need to nurture your database as much as possible. Or maybe, trying that media side of it too, to get people to respond who wouldn't normally come in for an event.
I haven't been doing this for as long as you have, but the advisors that I've spoken to, they always use the phrase of, if something works, that's great, then add to that.
Right.
Don't just say, I'm great at seminars, I'm just going to re-rack it and that's what we'll do again. What are you adding to your marketing wheel? So if an advisor's seminars are great, they did radio and it went well.
Yeah.
What's your spidey sense telling you?
Everything's feeding into one another. And so I'm never going to tell an advisor, hey, don't do that because it's working so well. I'm going to say, keep on that path, but let's add some more to it. So everything works together. If you're on radio, promote your events. Of course, if you're doing your events, promote how you're now on radio and you're going on TV. And most likely, if you are a big seminar advisor, you probably have a pretty large database. Clients who came in, maybe didn't convert, and they're sitting somewhere collecting dust. And it's that we'll get to it eventually. We'll contact those people. But eventually we know doesn't happen because life happens.
Yep.
And so having a nurturing database that you can constantly push out, because sometimes it's all about the right time, the right moment for these people. Maybe they go through a life change that triggers it. Now they need you. And if you keep your brand in front of them, you're going to be first on their mind to reach out when something in their life happens.
When we talked yesterday to set this whole thing up, was you mentioned two big, tax season is always there. That's always a big Q1 effort. Push your seminars and devote it towards tax season, but also the election. But then conversely, in Q1, you get the first 100 days of a new administration.
Yeah. 2025 is going to be unique because we do have a couple of things to talk about. No matter what, there's a new administration. So the first 100 days, people have questions. They have these plans that they roll out. It's also tax season. High net worth individuals respond well to tax topics because they want to know how to pay the least amount in their taxes. And so the combination of the two really gives you a lot of momentum to discuss it in your seminars, during your radio shows, during any of your client events, or just simply send out a newsletter because people are asking a lot of questions right now.
Do you find that seminars specifically work better towards the end of January versus right out of the gate, January 4th, January 5th, right when everyone gets back to go?
Yes. So it's all about when mailings hit. And we are a big proponent of using direct mail to these dinner seminars. So you have to think backwards, like 2.5 weeks. The last thing you want to happen is your mail hitting that week of New Year's when the mail system's trying to recover from a crazy holiday season, or things are just a little bit more delayed, and that's the last thing we want. So that 17th beyond is a nice starting point for most seminars. And for those practices that are around the country that have to deal with inclement weather, always try to separate your weeks. So do a Thursday, Tuesday, just because it gives you a little bit of a backup plan. If you have inclement weather that week of the Thursday event, you can move everybody to the following week. It just gives you a little bit more cushion just in case something goes wrong.
So you mentioned pizza shop seminars, watch house rules, like and subscribe. That one more of an investigation. Maybe it works for you, maybe it doesn't. Just as we were talking, I thought, hey, well, we did a house rules on a client appreciation event for movie premieres, January, pre-Oscars.
Yep.
Good idea to get in front of some existing clients. The one that stands out to me, I feel like you're always advocating for that Valentine's Day event. And that planning starts now.
Yeah, exactly. I love it because I think it's just something so different, and you can keep it small and intimate. And what you're doing is you're helping the people who don't have someone special, who usually don't celebrate the holiday, feel special. And those are the little details we tell our advisors to pay attention to, because that's what makes you different. That's what helps you stand out when you pour into your clients and even your prospects and give them an experience that they might not have otherwise. So a simple client appreciation event for widows, singles, anybody who just wants to do something to get out of the house to feel some type of love. So holding it at a restaurant, a small venue, something just to, keep in touch with them during that time when nobody else is really keeping in touch with them.
Yeah, we had an advisor that did something that at the botanical gardens, and they it was women only.
Yep.
And they made flower bouquets, and it was a nice change of pace. And I would imagine the people that attended felt that same way.
Absolutely. And the shift of women really taking over the financial responsibilities and inheriting all the finances from their families and their husbands, it's a powerful thing to really focus on that women demographic that other advisors aren't focusing on.
You gave me another another idea, and I see you didn't wear your Carolina blue, even though I emailed you. So you don't.
Sorry.
You don't.
You represented. You look great.
You did not. You do not read my emails, which is mildly hurtful. But you mentioned a March Madness event.
Yeah. If you're in a town that really appreciates college basketball, March Madness is so fun to participate in. So holding an event where everybody gets to fill out a bracket, make a little competitive, cheer on your favorite teams, host a watch party, things like that. Just again, something that's different that everyone can get behind, and you learn their favorite teams, how active they really are in watching in the sport of it all. And it just creates that fun atmosphere to bring people together.
And one thing that I had written on my pre-show notes in capital letters, that means it's really important for Q1, for new year, new mindset, try something new.
Yep.
Why is that so important for a financial advisor?
Because we know, going back to being diverse in your marketing, we know the things that work, keep doing them. But just like COVID taught us, when all of a sudden our event heavy advisors could no longer do events, sometimes that radio station that you've been on for years with no warning will turn to a Spanish station. Unless you can speak Spanish well, I don't think this is going to work
No
anymore.
bueno.
So you always want to have a backup plan. And again, our demographics getting a little bit younger, and so they want to interact with you in different ways. So if you've never tried broadening your social media reach, do that this year. If you're sitting on that database and you've never really nurtured your clients and prospects, do that. Or maybe you add video. Video is such a powerful tool. You know that specifically.
Wink.
So maybe you sit in your office and you record videos every single week to send out to your database to start making that more personal connection rather than them just reading that long email. Just create a little bit of space, time, and budget to try something new and see if you can build momentum, and give it plenty of time to breathe before you completely axe it.
This isn't the only time we'll talk about planning for the new year on Ready, Set, Grow. It's going to be kind of a push on our part because we believe it should be a push on our advisors' part as well. And something that I think Brett Laney, Director of Client Marketing here, and also Kim Skurs, our sales guru, are going to talk about is the stats and looking back and tracking your numbers. But something that stood out to me when we were sitting down going over what we were going to talk about was it's almost counterintuitive that you think you only want to get in front of people you've never been in front of before.
Right.
But we have a study, Track That Advisor, 130 practices surveyed, looked at their numbers, looked at their books, and 61% of their new business came from existing clients and referrals.
It's nuts. That number is insane. So 49% is coming from everything else, or no, 39%, even less than that, right, is coming from where you actually spend most of your money. So really thinking about what did you do last year and how do you maximize continuing to get in front of your clients. We hear time and time again from advisors that they gain new clients from people who they already have an advisor. They say, well, why are you looking to move? Well, they never get in touch with me. I feel like I'm not getting anywhere with them. It's the same story from them every single time. They're not feeling the love.
Gotta feel the love.
And when you see advisors who, we work with, and they really take care of their clients, they think about those little details to really hone in on what's important for the client, make them feel welcome as a kind of a part of the family, we see tremendous growth in the practices. And so it's thinking about how do you get to that 61% so then you can spend a little bit more of your budget there and then determine what else can we do to drive new leads. But don't ignore this huge database of people, both clients and prospects, that you can continue to get in front of and create those relationships and maximize the referral opportunity.
And there's still marketing involved with a client appreciation event or anything like that.
Yeah.
So you're still able to spend money and see the reward, see the ROI on
Absolutely.
it. Can I put you on the spot?
Sure. We'll see.
So, new year. What's one thing that is kind of new to you on the marketing side for an advisor to try? Something that we're not really sure, but you're kind of seeing the waves and seeing a trend that maybe an advisor should try this sort of marketing or this sort of initiative.
Okay, so we're kind of sitting in it right now.
What?
Isn't that weird?
Yeah.
You set me up really well. Thanks. Podcasts. So we see a lot of advisors on radio and on TV, and those still work. Our most successful advisors are still focusing on how to broaden their reach on those two spaces. But having the podcast, creating your digital presence. So now you're becoming a celebrity, not only because of your radio show and your TV, but most likely people are going to go find you online, right? Now there's a digital presence that these advisors need to start building. And this is easy, because this is not a long episode. This is 10 to 15 minutes. We show a little bit of personality, some of our expertise, kind of what we're passionate about. And while it's not necessarily going to be a huge lead generating source, it's an incredible branding presence. So people can find you, but then also imagine being able to use your podcast in your nurture series, talking about it in front of your seminar, getting people to listen to your podcast before they even come in and meet you. There's just a lot of different things that you can do there to start building the momentum and building that foundation of your online presence.
And dare I say, a podcast can be fun.
It can be fun at times. Depends who your co-host is.
Okay. I'll take it. I'll take it. I'll take it. Alex, thank you so much. I feel like this has been enlightening for an advisor that feels like they've got it all figured out. And we're here to say, hey, great job.
Yep.
Great job.
Great time. Great job this year. Let's plan for next year.
Now add to it.
Yep.
Now build on that momentum that you've created. This is just the tip of the spear for Ready, Set, Grow. We've got other podcasts on other subjects. I know we sat down with Abe, one of our advisors, Abe Ashton, who talked politics and how to have those political conversations with their clients and prospects. And then also on our YouTube channel, House Rules with the incomparable Alex House, and then our new series, Selling with Stories with Randy Cook, that I feel like I have a part in. And Randy does a great job of kind of mapping out some of those tough conversations that advisors can have with their clients and prospects. So all great resources that you can check out on our Impact Partnership YouTube channel. Like, subscribe. Hey, leave a comment. We may even comment back.
We sure will.
Oh.